this is a good one for you guys. I mean, you definitely can't go wrong with changing out your transmission fluid, right? So, how often should you be changing that transmission fluid? Wow. Let's see. Let's start off with the fact that I have already changed this transmission fluid once already. I changed it at 42,000 miles, or about 60-some thousand kilometers. 68, I think, closer to 70. So, how often should you change it? Well, I would probably change it around that mileage. I'd say maybe about 50,000 miles. Why? Well, I abuse my truck. I shift a lot. I practically sport shift this truck every day I drive it. So, I mean, there's that, right? So, keep that in mind there. Let's see. If you tow a lot, if you off-road a lot, you definitely got to look at transmission changes often, because you're just putting that transmission through a lot of abuse, and it's going to give you a darker color and all those little things. As you see in this video here where it's draining,
Really? Wow,
it's got a little bit of brown discoloration.
Yeah, I can see it's a little dark there.
But trust me, of all the transmissions I've drained,
Nothing close?
this is one of the cleaner ones.
Oh, I guess I should hit redline more.
a little dark, a little bit see-through. My tech says that it's not as bad as some of the others he's seen, and I mean, there's people out there that don't even change it. So, and I mean, they say that you can just leave it and never touch it, but I personally won't. To give you a peace of mind as well, when I changed it, the truck felt smoother, 100%. Especially the fact that usually when these trucks are cold, obviously they're not going to shift very nicely, and no vehicle ever will because it's cold, right? The truck actually felt smooth shifting even right off, like right as I was leaving the lot, it felt smooth. I actually was really happy there. I was like, I could feel that difference, because anytime I've driven the truck, and this was stock tuning too, this was no OB tuning because this is 2 years old. It was, it felt always really clunky and rough whenever I was shifting. And this was like 2,025, 3,000 RPM, so it wasn't high shifts or anything. And it just didn't feel good. But then when I changed out the fluid, it felt smoother by all means. So, but I don't recommend changing it at 40 unless you really are hard on your truck. I mean, like really hard. I'd say the round of 50, 60,000 is plenty of mileage for that transmission fluid. Now, here's another thing. Draining it only gets out 75%, I think maybe I've read on it. It's not going to get it all out, but it gets out a majority of it that it actually will make a difference. At least, like I said, to my feeling, it did. You definitely want to do that every now and again, so it keeps your fluid nice and clear, and you know, there's no issues with your fluid. If you really want to try and get all of it out, my recommendation is basically you drain it and refill it about twice. Maybe 3 times if you really want to push it, but I mean, that's a lot of fluid for you, and if you want to do that for that one time, go for it. I'm just going to drain as much as we can and refill it every time. That's more than enough for me, because I mean, as long as you have more newer fluid in it, then it'll just mix in with that little stuff there. It does kind of suck that there is still some old fluid in there, because I mean, there is probably a lot. I mean, you got to think about the torque converter and all that fills up, right? So definitely maybe recommend twice if you leave it for a longer period of time, or if you think you maybe need to do 2, depending on how dark that fluid may be. So, and for that, it's just a simple drain and refill. I mean, you fill it up until it kind of pukes out a little bit, put it back on, you're good to go. So that is how we did it. That's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, it comes down to how you're abusing your truck, just like all these other maintenance guides that I'm explaining to you guys. It just comes down to how you're gonna abuse the truck. If you're gonna drive like an ass hat all the time, or you know, you drive like normal, whatever. I mean, normal I guess would be not shifting high and not abusing it, whatever. But I mean, there's times where I get bored on say a highway and 60 miles an hour, I just want to go 3rd gear and go. For some reason I couldn't go into 2nd gear there, but and now the fact that I can go at 7,000 RPM, probably maybe should look at sooner fluid changes by all means, right? So, but that's my recommendation for you guys on the transmission fluid. I hope that little video showing the drainage kind of helps to show you what the color looked like. Like I said, it makes a difference. It helps to keep that transmission healthy. I mean, especially since a lot of you maybe think that this transmission is going to blow up because of how much it shifts. But I mean, I've watched this temp gauge lots. I mean, I was in Georgia, and with how much shifting this truck did, that transmission fluid does not move one bit. Like, but I mean, now with the ability to use the torque converter more with the OB2, it makes a little bit of a difference by all means too. And my transmission stays about 90 degrees Celsius, which is like what, 190-ish, I think, or whatever that average temp is. So it's good. It's very good. So see you later, guys. We got one more.